Church closures didn't end with the COVID pandemic. Campus Reform reports Syracuse University has shut the doors of a church on university property for upholding biblical views on sexuality. Orange officials say the church is violating the university's standards of inclusion. We'll hear with more as Campus Reform Correspondent at Syracuse University, Daniel Idfresne. So Daniel, tell us what's happening there. I understand the church was holding services in a ballroom at Drumlin's Country Club. So what happened that got the university so upset?
Well, Syracuse University, my university, in fact, pretty much terminated the church's ability to worship in Drumlin's Country Club because of intolerance and because they violated the university's inclusion policies. But in reality, they were just holding the basic Christian belief that homosexual activity is a sin.
And for that, the university got upset? Why?
Well, I think it's just a Trojan horse for what they really want. If you don't adhere to progressive values, then you can kick the curb. That's what Syracuse University said. That's what many universities across the nation has been saying to Christian students across the nation. The Leadership Institute's Campus Reform has reported many of these instances. For example, a Christian student organization being persecuted by school administrators for the betterment of 5 years until they won a federal court case. And also 2 students from a community college of all places in Georgia, they had to go to the Supreme Court to share their faith with their classmates.
Well, back to Syracuse, I'm sure some people would say this is university property. They should be able to set the rules for any group that rents space from them. What do you think?
I think that that's a very valid point, but you also cannot tell Syracuse University prides itself on having a diverse slot of different religions and whatnot, but it can't be diverse if you're just watering down in religions and saying that they can't hold any standards of their own.
Yeah, it seems like Syracuse U is trying to impose its beliefs on a church, and that would probably be a violation of the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it seems so. It's not as a clear-cut case as a public university, but it is definitely, as a Christian myself, it is quite infuriating to see what Syracuse University is doing to honest, ordinary Americans. They're not even students who just simply want to worship every Sunday.
Well, how is Radiant Church? I understand that's Radiant Church, and Pastor Jason, they're responding.
I'm sure they have some actions that they want to take. Me personally, I really do want them to take some action against Syracuse University. I am a practicing Christian. I am a son of a pastor, and even in New York City, I grew up in New York City. I was at least taught in New York City to respect people of other religions and don't water down what they believe in.
Well, they may have a good case on free speech rather than freedom of religion because it is Syracuse University property, but it is a public institution. So is this happening on other college campuses, this type of thing? Might it set an anti-Christian trend here?
It is definitely an anti-Christian trend. I talked about the 2 former examples, and Campus Reform has reported on many more examples than just like the Christian student organization that was prosecuted by a school administration for 5 years. I mean, students, it's not even just school administrators, students have even sued the Department of Education to get the strict federal funding from Christian schools, even though they chose to go to those schools. And they cite intolerance and a lack of inclusion, just as Syracuse University cited that same, inclusion narrative in order to remove Radiant Church.
Okay, Daniel, you may get your student loans paid off, but you won't be able to worship in church freely and say what you think. Daniel Idfresne, Campus Reform Correspondent at Syracuse. Thank you, Daniel, for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.